Right, so today's video we're going to be discussing whether you should buy the PS4 or the Xbox One. We're going to have a little discussion. We're going to give ourselves a 10-minute time limit by having a game of Call of Duty 4, which we haven't played in a while. Thought it'd be a bit interesting.
That's it. New Call of Duty Ghost just come out on PS3 and Xbox 360. Obviously, one of the launch titles for both of the new consoles, which should be good. So yeah, let's have a little go. I haven't played this for probably getting on 5 years, I would have thought.
Well, to give myself a slight advantage, I had a little bit of a go before you came round.
Right, okay.
And it is a lot better than I remember.
Okay.
It's surprisingly better than the rest, I would say.
Right, well, we'll see. I'm bottom screen, by the way, for anybody who's actually going to be following the...
Okay, so what do you think about the launch lineups for the new consoles?
Okay.
Dan?
Well, there's obviously a lot of similarities. You've both consoles got your FIFAs, your Call of Duties, Battlefields, those kind of games. But obviously, it's really all about the exclusives, isn't it? And for me, I think by a little way, I think the Xbox has got the better exclusives on certainly for launch day. About. What the heck?
Whoa! You suddenly disappeared. Whoa, you're winning. That's unusual. Well, I'd say personally, I mean, out of the launch lineups, there's more games there on the Xbox One that I want to play than PS4.
Definitely.
Killzone maybe. I'd like to maybe have a go on.
Killzone will probably be, I would say, is probably the better of the PS4 exclusives. I mean, other than that, there isn't really a lot of exclusive games to the PS4.
But they've got a lot of indie games coming out. I mean, if indie games are your thing,
that's it. I mean, I don't mind an indie game. Have a look at our previous videos.
Yeah, if indie games are your thing, then probably PS4 is the way to go at launch, because there's quite a good substantial amount of indie games there, and there's not so many on the Xbox One because of previous things that they wanted to do with the console and people not agreeing with it.
But then on the Xbox One, you've got things like Forza 5, Dead Rising 3 is going to be that'll be a good one as well. You got some really good launch exclusives, and obviously then down the line you've got things like Titanfall, which I think is going to be. I'm personally really excited about anything that's kind of looks to me a bit like a cross kind of between Call of Duty and Halo, sort of, which is for me. I think that's fantastic. That's probably.
I'd say after playing this, because obviously Titanfall is a lot of the same people that made this game.
Yeah. And
if they've got free reign to do what they like they did with this, then I can imagine it being pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
I am also, I mean, they haven't announced it yet, but if a new Uncharted came out on the PS4, then they've got my money straight away, because
you're an Uncharted fan, aren't you?
I am quite a big Uncharted fan.
You see, I quite liked. I very much on the current generation. I very much liked the Tomb Raider game that came out earlier this year, which was kind of like it was very similar to Uncharted. It was quite a close. It was quite close to being like just an Uncharted with a female main character, but I really enjoyed that. That said, I've never made my way all the way through Uncharted.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what my point is there, but it's just a...
I don't know. I'd say, other than that, though, I mean, I'm just controversial. Like, if they brought out a new Last of Us, I'm not that fussed. I bought The Last of Us, thought it was okay. It was no...
How did that take me 3 days?
I mean, everyone was saying it was like the best game ever made, but for me, it was okay.
Yeah.
And I thought the frame rate on that was appalling, and it really took it away for me.
Well, frame rate is quite an interesting one, isn't it? Because that's something where that's something obviously that does differ on some of the major games.
Well, more the resolution rather than the frame rate.
Right.
I mean, obviously you've got the big ones that everyone's talking about in a minute, Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty, Ghosts, and they're obviously a higher resolution on PS4.
No, I'm not a technical person, as you know. I'm not. The last thing, seriously, but I'm not a technical person in the slightest. But I don't think, having seen the kind of snippets that I've seen, the little trailer points I've seen, I don't think it's going to make as much difference as people seem to be worried about. They seem to be very worried about. Come on.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, I've seen both versions of Battlefield running in person.
Yeah.
And
La-di-da.
It's not as big a difference as what people are trying to make out.
No.
It obviously you can tell, but I mean, some people. I am one that actually would agree with this. It does at times look actually a bit crisper on the Xbox One for some strange reason. I mean, apparently the upscaler is fantastic on the Xbox One, but it's an upscaler, I believe, made by AMD, and it's the same one on the PS4. So
that might as well have just been French.
But as I say, I mean, I have heard a rumour that Call of Duty, not Call of Duty, but Battlefield actually look better upscaled rather than 1080p.
Right.
And they actually, or
explain that upscaling.
Upscaling is you've got a native resolution,
right,
which is whatever you run it at. So 720p is the native resolution for Battlefield 4.
Mm-hmm.
But they're upscaling it. There's a system in place where it upscales it to 1080p.
Right.
So it improves it slightly.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be as good as what it would be if it was native. But apparently I have heard from a couple of sources that it actually is running better for some reason when it is upscaled at 720 than it. And not, the problem wasn't the frame rate, which some people might think. That it was actually running better.
3 minutes.
At 720 and looked nicer.
Right.
It seemed to be brighter and crisper. And I mean, this could be complete nonsense. I mean, I'm no expert on it, but this is just what I heard.
Okay. Well, the controllers.
Well,
two quite different. They're quite different from the current generation ones, I think.
As you know, I've actually had a feel of both.
You've had a go, yeah.
And the PS4 one is. I mean, I did prefer the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
This generation.
Definitely.
It's just a lot. I mean, I like first-person shooters, and it's perfect for that.
Yeah, I'm not very good at them.
The new PS4 controller is a lot better to hold and feels a lot smoother to use. However, the Xbox controller is pretty much the same. I'd still, I think, prefer the Xbox controller, but the new PS4 controller is definitely a magnificent improvement. Although it does feel kind of cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
The PS4 one.
The PS4 one just feels a little bit cheap to hold, but nice to hold, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd still probably go with the Xbox One personally. But I mean, a lot of people prefer the PlayStation controllers. It's the position of the sticks mainly for me.
Yeah. I don't think you can beat an Xbox controller. I've always thought the Xbox ones are brilliant. So I think if it's as good as obviously they've made, I think they've made 40 improvements or something. Or
yeah, I can't.
They must be like colour and these little tiny things.
Yeah,
can't be anything big. But
what do you reckon about we're running out of time here? Or should we give ourselves a 10-minute time limit? Kinect and the iToy.
Well, obviously Xbox comes with Kinect. Will run without it, but they're not planning on releasing any sort of a version without it. But I think it's. I mean, I've got Kinect at the minute. I don't use it a lot. But that said, I think if you look at the little things that they're bringing in, it's going to become more and more of a kind of a necessity and something that you will use more often than certainly with the current generation.
Yeah.
The scary thing for some people is that obviously it's always on.
Well, it's not always on. You can turn it. You can turn it off.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So it isn't always on.
Right. Okay.
What about the iToy? I mean, there's not a lot of information about the iToy.
No, it's going to be another, what was it, 40, 50 quid. That's basically all it is.
I believe it's £60.
£60.
Yeah.
That's.
And obviously, what about the prices of the consoles?
Well, that kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it? It's £60 more for the. It's obviously £100. Was it £100 more for the?
I believe it's £350 for the PlayStation 4 and £430.
Yeah, £49. So you're pretty much wiping it out, and plus if you get your day one version of your Xbox One, you get a copy of FIFA with it as well. Yeah. So you're getting a game with it as well.
So, in your personal opinion, what would you choose, taking everything into account?
Taking everything into account, myself, I'm going to go for an Xbox One. I have an Xbox One pre-ordered myself. I think.
Could you see yourself buying a PS4 in the future?
Certainly down the line, depending on what they do with it, what games they bring out for it, and the exclusives. Exclusives are a massive thing for me. The last Metal Gear Solid sold me a PlayStation 3. So
yeah,
it's I mean, if the lineup's all right down the line, then yeah, I'll probably end up getting one.
Well, as I say, I am currently going with the Xbox One as well, purely on the basis of the games that are out at launch. As soon as something, I mean, a Killzone isn't enough for me to get me in there, and the other games I'm not really that interested in at the moment. But I say as soon as they bring out one that is to my liking, like an Uncharted or anything, then I'll be on it. But I'll probably end up. Well, I will. I know I am. I'm going to end up with it before then. But Uncharted for me, and then it's a must-have.
Yeah.
But until then, I would say Xbox One.
Brilliant. So there we go. Both Xbox One fans, I think. Xbox One out worldwide, or pretty much worldwide in the bigger areas. 22nd of November. PS4, I believe, 15th of November in the US.
It is. 29th in the UK
in the UK.
And Europe, I believe.
Yeah. So, make your own mind up.